I've been doing this job for years. Every morning, the same routine, opening the cafe, turning on the espresso machines, wiping down counters, making sure everything looks perfect before anyone even walks in. I know the faces of the regulars, the ones who come every morning at the same time, the ones who order the same drink, say the same thing. It's comfortable, predictable, safe, or at least I used to think it was. But today feels different. The moment I stepped in, I felt it. Not a bad feeling exactly, more like a weight I couldn't see. He was already here, sitting at a table in the corner, wearing a suit that wasn't flashy but carried authority. There was something in the way he leaned back, one hand resting lightly on the table, the other almost hidden. It wasn't threatening, not yet, but it was deliberate, calculated, and I could feel him looking at me the second I walked in. I've been trained to keep calm, to hide everything. I learned long ago that showing weakness only makes people notice you. But this was different. I could feel my hands shake slightly as I carried the tray with a morning espresso. I reminded myself to keep them steady. Deep breath. Focus. Act normal. He doesn't need to know I'm afraid. And yet, I knew he already did. He always does. I don't know how. Most people can't read me like that. They think I'm just another waiter, another face behind the counter. But he sees everything. He notices the small things, the way my shoulder tenses, the slight hesitation in my steps, the way my eyes dart just a little too quickly when someone walks by. He notices the stories my body tells without me saying a word. And I don't even know him yet. I move to the espresso machine, trying to focus on the familiar sounds, the hiss of the steam wand, the clink of cups, the gentle bubbling of coffee. But it all felt muffled, like I was hearing it underwater. My mind kept drifting back to him, back to the way his gaze seemed to follow me wherever I went, not in a threatening way, but in a way that made me aware of everything I was doing. Every movement, every breath, every small flaw in my composure. And I hated it and hated myself for noticing that I hated it. I poured the coffee slowly, deliberately. My hand steadied for a moment, but only because I had to. I couldn't let him see any tremble. Not here. Not now. Not with the other people in the cafe. Regular customers came in, chatting about nothing important, their voices blending into the background. I served them, smiled, nodded, but part of me was somewhere else entirely. Focused on him, feeling the weight of his gaze without a single word being exchanged. It was exhausting and terrifying. I wanted to look away, to pretend I didn't notice him noticing me. But I couldn't. There was something magnetic about the way he sat, about the way he moved even when he wasn't moving. There was authority in every inch of him. And I realized with a sinking feeling that this wasn't just a man sitting in my cafe. This was a man who could change everything, if he wanted to. And maybe he already had. I stepped closer to him, bringing the tray carefully in my hands. Coffee for one. Nothing special, but my stomach tightened, my pulse racing. I placed the cup in front of him, making sure the spoon was aligned, just so. I expected him to thank me. Instead, he looked up slowly, directly into my eyes. No esmide, no greeting. Just looking. And in that look, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Exposure, vulnerability, and, strangely, recognition. Recognition that I was not just a waiter. That I carried my life in my movements, in my body, in the way I handled the smallest task. He saw it all, and I hated that he did. But also, part of me wanted him to see. Part of me wanted him to know that I survived everything I've survived, that I could hold myself together, even in fear, that I could still function, still carry on. I turned away quickly, trying to hide the flush rising on my cheeks, pretending to check on another table, pretending to be calm, pretending to be normal. But the truth was I wasn't. I couldn't be. Not with him watching. Not with him knowing. I wanted to run, to disappear into the back of the cafe, where no one could see me, no one could touch me, no one could judge me. But my feet stayed planted. My hands stayed busy. My mind raced. And all the while, he just watched. I don't speak. I don't need to. Words are heavy. Actions, movements, reactions, they say everything. I watch her. The way she moves behind the counter, the way she lifts the tray, the subtle tension in her shoulders. Most people think they can hide their truths. But life leaves marks that can't be erased. I see hers. bruises along her shoulder, the side of her arm, small, careful, concealed, but they're there. And they tell a story most would avoid, a story most would break under. But she doesn't break. Not yet. I'll let her move. Let her work. Let her breathe. Most people freeze under observation, but she continues, pretending not to notice. I notice. I always notice. The hesitation before she places a cup, the quick flick of her eyes when a customer brushes by, the stiffening of her body as if she's preparing for a hit that may never come. These are the moments that reveal character. These are the moments I study. These are the moments I measure. I've survived long enough to know that weakness is contagious. It spreads like fire through a room, through a city, through a person's life. I want to know where hers ends. I want to know how strong she really is. That strength doesn't come from muscle or money. It comes from the ability to endure, to continue functioning when every instinct screams to run or collapse. And she does. She functions. I can see it in the way she forces her hands to stay steady, the way her chest rises and falls in controlled bursts, the way her back stays straight even when she's shaking inside. I step a little closer, not close enough to scare her, but close enough for her to feel it. I don't speak. I don't need to. Every glance is calculated. Every shift of my weight, every motion of my hand on the table, every line in my face is meant to be observed, meant to be absorbed. I'm testing her, not with words, with presence, with silence, with power that doesn't need to be proven through violence or threats. She senses it. I know she does. I see the flicker in her eyes, the brief hesitation, the swallow of air that isn't just for her lungs. It's a response, a test in return, and she passes even without knowing the rules. Other people around us, they don't notice. They never do. They're busy with their coffee, their chatter, their lives. But I notice. I notice every glance she gives, every slight tremor, every attempt to compose herself. I notice the stories she isn't telling. And I know one day, if I choose, I could draw them out. One look, one word, one gesture. She'd tell me everything without realizing it. That's what I'm seeing. Not the person she shows the world, but the person she's been forced to become. The survivor. And yet, there's more. There's a flicker of defiance, too. Something buried deep. Something she doesn't even allow herself to admit. I see in the curl of her lips when she thinks no one is looking, the way she sets a cup down a little too firmly on the counter, the tiny tightening of her jaw. She has fire. She has will. Most people with her history would have folded into themselves, would have walked away, would have let the fear and the bruises define them. But not her. Not yet. I step back, just enough to let her breathe again. I allow her space, but I don't let go of her. I don't have to. My eyes remain on her, following every move. I watch her serve another customer. I watch her pour coffee, arrange plates, smile politely, all the while hiding everything beneath the surface. And I realize that I'm not just observing. I'm learning. Learning her limits. Learning her instincts. Learning what she is capable of enduring and what she might endure for me. Most people would see a frightened waiter, a timid girl trying to get through another morning. But I see potential. Strength born from hardship. Survival forged in silence. I see someone who could be anything or anyone if given the right reason, the right guidance. And I know, without a doubt, that I'm going to test her. I'm going to push her slowly, deliberately, without ever crossing the line that makes her shut down completely. I'll see how far she can go. And in return, I'll reveal just enough of myself for her to understand the rules of the world she's stepping into. One step at a time. One move at a time. The rest of the cafe continues around us, oblivious. Coffee orders, idle chatter, clinking of spoons and cups. But we're in our own space. A space measured in glances, in tension, in silent observation. And I know this is only the beginning. Only the first layer. The testing has begun. And whether she realizes it or not, she has already started responding. Already started adapting. Already started surviving. We lock eyes for a moment, and it's like everything else fades. The clinking of cups, the chatter of customers, the hiss of the espresso machine. It all disappears. It's just him, and me, and the silence between us. I know fear. I know how it feels to walk into a room and have it weigh on you like it might crush you at any second. But this this is different. It's recognition. Someone sees me. Not the uniform, not the coffee tray, not the polite smile I force onto my face. They see me, all of me, the small, broken parts, the hidden bruises on my shoulder, the way I flinch when someone gets too close. They see it, and I feel it all at once. Exposed, vulnerable, naked in a way I haven't felt in years. I want to move. I want to turn around, hide, disappear behind the counter. But I can't. My body won't let me. I freeze. My hands stay steady, even though they're shaking beneath the tray I'm holding. I can feel the heat of my own skin, my pulse thrumming in my ears, and I know he can feel it too. He doesn't need to touch me to know what's going on inside. He's quiet, calm, deliberate. But that quiet, it carries weight. It presses down, like it's holding me accountable for every moment I've survived, every fear I've swallowed, every secret I've kept tucked away beneath my clothes. And yet, there's something else. Something I can't name at first. A strange, small comfort. Because he's not angry. He's not mocking me. He's not sneering like the others have. He's not looking at me like I'm weak. He's looking at me like he understands. And that scares me more than anything. Understanding feels heavier than fear, in a way. Because when someone understands your pain, they also understand your limits. And that means they can break you if they choose. I glance down at the tray. The cups are steady, the coffee is hot, the milk foam is perfect. All of it matters so little compared to the weight of his gaze. I can feel him taking measure of me. He's learning my rhythms, my reactions. I can sense it in the way his eyes flicker to my shoulders to the side of my arm. He's reading me, memorizing me. I can feel myself tightening, bracing. I learned long ago how to hide, how to keep people from seeing too much. But I realize he doesn't just see me. He notices what I try to hide. And I hate it. And I hate him for it. And I can't look away. Time slows. The moments stretch. Each second is heavy. I feel like I'm being measured, weighed, analyzed. Every small movement I make, every breath I take, is under his scrutiny. And in that scrutiny, there's clarity. For the first time in a long time, someone notices not just my scars, but my resilience. The things I've survived. The things I continue to survive every day. And in that clarity comes a choice. Do I let him see me fully, all of me? Or do I continue hiding behind the apron, the polite smiles, the careful movements? My mind races. Memories surface. My mother's warnings, the fear I've carried all my life, the nights I've cried alone, the days I've forced myself to appear strong. Do I allow someone else into this part of me? I lift my head just slightly, just enough to meet his gaze again. And in that moment, it's like something shifts. Not words, not gestures, just the knowledge that he sees. And I see that he's testing me in his own way. Testing if I can stand when the world presses down. Testing if I can meet someone else's strength without flinching. My body relaxes a fraction, enough to let the tray settle. I continue moving, serving the next customer, pouring coffee, arranging plates. But there's a tension now that wasn't there before. A thread between us, invisible yet unbroken. And I feel it tightening with every step I take, every glance I risk in his direction. He's patient. I am cautious. And yet, in the silence between us, in that heavy, measured gaze, there's a connection forming. Not friendship, not trust, not yet, but something that might grow into those things, or might shatter entirely. And I know, deep down, that whatever comes next, I'm already changed by this encounter. Already aware that I can no longer hide, at least not fully. I serve the last of the morning orders. The cafe starts filling with more customers. Conversations rise, spoons clink against cups, the espresso machine hisses again. But I'm not moving in that world anymore. I'm moving in his. The space between us exists now, measured in glances, breaths, and unspoken understanding. And I realize that the world I knew, safe, predictable, controlled, is gone. Replaced by something raw, something dangerous, something I can't yet name. And in that dangerous space, I make the smallest, quietest decision. I will survive this. Whatever this is, whoever he is, I will survive. I watch her, not from across the room this time, but closer, just enough to notice the tremble in her hands, the slight hesitation in her steps. She thinks she's hiding her unease, but it's all there. Every twitch, every sharp intake of breath. And I let her think she's in control. Let her feel like this is a normal morning. She doesn't know yet that this is a test. Not the kind that threatens life. At least, not yet. But a test of instinct, awareness, and courage. I need to know what she's capable of, what she'll endure. I see the bruises on her shoulder, just a hint beneath the thin fabric. She survived pain, survived fear, survived hiding in plain sight. That's rare. That's valuable. I step closer, carefully, deliberately, so that she notices but can't pinpoint the moment. Not threatening. Not yet. My eyes measure her, silently asking questions she doesn't know how to answer. And I can see it. The hesitation, the tiny shiver of awareness. Good. She's cautious. She's alive. That will matter. That will make all the difference. He comes closer, and I feel it immediately. The space between us shrinks. My chest tightens. I don't know if it's fear or curiosity or both. I keep moving, pouring coffee, arranging pastries, pretending the day is normal. But it's not. I can feel him watching every motion, every pause, every glance I cast toward him. And then, he speaks. Not loudly, not harshly. Just a word. A question. Something small, almost meaningless. But in that word, I feel a weight. Like it's a test. I'm expected to respond. Expected to reveal myself. I freeze. My hands hover over the espresso cup. I swallow. And I answer, careful, measured. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know what he's testing exactly. But I can feel it pressing against me, that silent judgment, that quiet measurement. And I realize this is more than a man watching me. This is someone studying my survival. Someone who understands what it means to endure. And maybe I need to see what I'm capable of too. Or maybe I'm just scared of failing. Either way, I can't look away. Her answer is small, simple, yet honest. And that honesty, raw, unpolished, unpretentious, is worth more than any lie she could have given. I nod slightly. That's all she gets. No pras. No recognition. Just observation. I need to see how she handles it next. I need to see if she can survive the moments when mistakes aren't just noticed, but punished. And I know now that she's not just a waiter, not just a girl with bruises. She's someone who's walked through fire and come out on the other side. That makes her rare. That makes her interesting. That makes her mine to watch for now. I feel my hands steadier now, even though my heart is racing. I know he's testing me. I can feel it. And for the first time, I don't want to flinch. I want to see if I can stand. If I can face this man and not crumble. He's not cruel. Not yet. But he's watching, measuring, judging. And I realize that my survival isn't just about hiding anymore. It's about standing. About moving forward without fear. I take a deep breath and meet his gaze. Not fully. Not yet. But enough to show that I'm here. That I exist. And that I can endure. Even if I don't know what comes next, I can endure this moment. That small, quiet acknowledgement feels like victory. Just for now. But it's a start. And sometimes a start is all you need. I can't stop noticing him. It's not just fear anymore. There's something in the way he watches. Not like everyone else who only sees the uniform, the tray, the job. He notices the small things, the things I try to hide from the world. When he talks, it's quiet, deliberate, but I notice it. It's meant to guide, to correct, not to harm. And strangely, it makes me feel safe. I hate that it makes me feel safe because I know the man I'm seeing has a world I shouldn't even touch. And yet, when he looks at me now, there's a tenderness under the weight of power, like he's protecting me in a way I don't understand. I've seen too much to trust people easily. Power teaches you caution. But there's something in her resilience, in the way she faces the world with quiet strength, that draws me in. I find myself noticing her in ways I shouldn't. Small things. How she tenses when she's afraid. How she softens when she trusts. How she carries herself even when the weight of the world tries to push her down. I don't move fast. Affection is a weapon in the wrong hands, and mine isn't gentle. But watching her, I feel a pull, a curiosity, a desire to be close, not just in control. And in that, I find myself crossing a line I never thought I would because power isn't enough anymore. She makes me want more than just control. I never thought I'd be here, standing in the middle of his world, seeing it for what it is. It's not pretty. It's dangerous. And I know now that my life will never be the same, no matter what I choose. I look at him across the room. The man who made me feel both fear and something I can't name. I see the weight he carries, the careful way he controls everything, the quiet humanity he tries to hide. And I realize something. He's not cruel. Not entirely. He's a man who knows the cost of survival, who's been shaped by it. And now, he's looking at me in a way that asks something impossible. To trust him. I think of my life before this job, the bruises, the small betrayals, the fear I carried like a second skin. And I wonder, if I step closer, if I let myself lean into this world, what will I become? Will I lose myself? Or will I finally find someone who sees me, really sees me? I never expected to care for someone like this. I'm a man of power, not love. And yet, I find myself pulled into her orbit, aware of every flinch, every hesitation, every flicker of fear in her eyes. She's not just another person in my world. She's someone I want to protect, even when it conflicts with everything I built. I don't ask for her obedience. I ask for her trust. And I know how heavy that is. To step into my world is to step into danger, into a life that doesn't forgive weakness. And yet, I see something in her that matches my own strength. She has survived, and she will survive this too, maybe better than I ever could. I take a deep breath, and I choose, not because I'm unafraid, but because I've learned that fear doesn't decide for me. I step closer, not as a servant, not as someone broken, but as someone who's alive, who's choosing to face what comes. He doesn't reach for me, doesn't take my hand. He just watches, and in that quiet, I know we're equal, not in power, not in strength, but in something else, in the acknowledgement that we both survive, and maybe in our own ways we'll survive better together. She moves forward, and I feel the weight of my world shift. It's not a surrender. It's not control. It's recognition. She's not afraid of me. She's aware of me. And that is rare. That is powerful. In this moment, I don't need to prove anything. We don't need words. What we have is enough. And I realize the world doesn't have to be just fear and survival. With her, it can be something more. Something I thought I had long forgotten. I never thought a life like mine could lead here. But here I am. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I don't know if this world will break me again. But I know one thing. I am no longer invisible. And sometimes surviving is enough to start living. And maybe, just maybe, it's enough to start believing in something better.